Hey guys, Wallen Customs here, and today we are taking a look at the Mafex Suicide Squad DEADSHOT figure right here. Looks pretty cool. I was contemplating on getting this one or the SH Figure Arts one. I ultimately went with this one, of course, because of a couple reasons. A, it's a lot bigger. The SH Figure Arts one is a little bit smaller looking, so I want this figure to stand better with my 6-inch scale figures. Also, a lot more accessories. Maybe even more detail, so we'll see how that goes. When it comes to Mafex, the articulation is great, but the quality control is not always the greatest, but I've been hearing great things about him lately, and the last one I had, which was the Armored Batman, actually stands pretty good, so looks like Mafex might be doing a lot better, so let's open it up. Alright guys, so here he is out of the box. Now I have to say right off the bat, the quality control on this guy is fantastic. Really is. I am really impressed by it. Everything feels firm, nice, nothing feels loose or weird. And I'll get more into that in the quality control department of this video. But I just want to say off the bat, I am very impressed with this figure, and I might be a new fan of Mafex all over again. But yeah, let's get to the video. So yeah, all these accessories, good job Mafex. Unlike SH Figure Arts, you don't have a lot of accessories like this. This is fantastic. So let's start. Where do we start? First off, he comes with a couple guns. Of course, he comes with his signature rifle from the movie, which looks really nice. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's take a look at that. Looks pretty cool. And it says on it, "I am the light, the way." Well, it looks pretty cool. I like this rifle as well. Looks pretty nice too. Here's the other side. A little DEADSHOT symbol right there, the bullseye. I love the sculpt. Really good sculpting, paintwork, everything on this. It looks fantastic. Next up, he does come with two pistols over here, which are pretty nice, pretty standard, but look pretty cool anyway. And these actually go onto the figure in the back, unlike the SH Figure Arts one. I will most likely be comparing that and saying that kind of stuff throughout the video because, you know, you have these two figures, one from each company, and you have to make the decision which one you want, you know? You gotta spend the money. This one, though, the Mafex one is more expensive, but it is well worth it. It needs to go in there. Am I doing it right? I hope I am. There you go. It actually clicks right in. A nice sound to it. So there you go. So that's pretty cool. Next up, he does have another pistol, very similar to the same design as his assault rifle. It's a little bit different shade of purple, if you want to call it that, but it looks pretty cool. And this one actually goes on the side over here on this holster. Let's get that in there. It actually comes out to the other side, so that's pretty nice. And of course, he does come with a knife right here, which goes in his ankle, I believe. Yeah. And it will fit right in there. So you have all these different spots for his weapons except for his assault rifle, which he will be holding in his hand. So that's pretty cool. Next up, he does have the alternative head right here with the mask. And it looks pretty nice. It's not, you know, definitely the detail in the sculpt is there. And he does have his little, what do you want to call that? Scope eye right there. Looks pretty cool. The quality on this actually kind of reminds me of a NECA figure, to be honest, if you know what I mean. But overall, it looks pretty decent. Don't mind that. Let's try popping that off right now. We'll take a look at the Will Smith head, too. It's on a ball joint right there. Actually, this has a double ball articulation right there. This one does not, though. It's just solid. Let's see how that fits. More snug. And there you go. You don't have the same it's pretty good actually. Goes down pretty nice. So that's how it looks like with the mask on. I'll get more shots of that later. And of course he does have the Will Smith head right there, which looks really nice. I was actually hoping that you get a Will Smith head without the scope on his eye. Just the SH Figure Arts one does that. But I actually think the head scope on this looks a lot better. So the scope goes around his whole head to the other side of the ear. Right there, looks pretty nice. The beard looks pretty good. The face sculpt looks nice, so definitely no complaints there. Really good sculpting. And this one, like I said before, has two joints right there. So one at the neck and one at the base of the neck. It goes on right there. Lastly, he does come with all of these different hands, which is awesome. I mean, some of them look really similar, that's the funny part, but they're not. Just sometimes the difference is just the placement of the thumb, which is pretty funny. So that's pretty nice of Mafex to actually give us so many different variation of hand gestures, different things to hold weapons with and guns. So, you know how this works. You just use the appropriate hands for the appropriate weapons if you want to swap them out, and there you go. Now already on the figure, he has two fist hands right there, so if you want to pop these off, you just pull it off like that. They actually come up pretty easily. I do wish that the peg was a little bit longer, but they still stay in there pretty firm, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. So we'll take this one off, and we'll put one that he will be using to hold his rifle, and let's think it's this one. Perhaps, because you would put it in between that. Let's see if that fits. Doesn't really fit me. That's for the knife. Let's try another one. So many hands. This one feels like a trigger finger. There you go. That could be it. Right. But that seems kind of wide. So many different options. Sometimes that could be a little confusing. Alright, that could be it. So we use that one. I mean, you could. Ooh, the scope fell out. That's interesting. I wonder if I was supposed to do that, or oh no, I just broke it actually. I think. That kind of sucks. So yeah, actually it pegs in. It's not gonna come out. It's pretty firm, but I don't know if it's supposed to do that because it looks like it was glued in. So that's something to look out for. Don't lose that. I will. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna glue that back on, but just something to know. All right, so we'll stick this hand in, and goes in nice and firm. Pretty good. All right, so let's take a look at Will Smith DEADSHOT up close and personal. Like I said before, he looks fantastic. I am so impressed by this figure. He looks really nice. The head sculpt, like I said before, looks great. So let's take a look at the body up close. And over here at his neck, it says, "I am the light, the way." You take a look at his armor, man, it is fantastic looking. Even underneath the armor, his bodysuit, you see all the different textures in the outfit he's wearing. Really nice. But the armor looks really great too. Feels great too. He has some bullet holes, maybe, right? You have a nice DEADSHOT target right there. Take a look at the back. I actually like this outfit a lot. Pretty cool. Here's his guns right there. Oh man, this guy looks fantastic. So over here on his belt clip, he does have more clips for his pistols. Non-removable, looks like, but that's pretty obvious. And they look fantastic though. The sculpting on it is so top-notch. It is great. Over here, more. Going down to the... Actually, let's go over here. So over here, he has more guns, and you can't remove them at all, from what I can tell. But it looked good. I'm trying to get a good view of it right there. Look pretty nice. What I like over here though, on his legs, he does have more clips for his assault rifle, and he's actually move, which is pretty cool. I don't know if that's for better articulation, and like when you're gonna prop him up maybe, or have him in a kneeling position so it won't get in the way, or just for the hell of it, you know. It looks pretty cool. I like that. Over here he has his pistol, the other one. His holster, he has knee pads. Man, the sculpt on this is fantastic. You even see all the buckles for his armor, his knee pads and stuff like that. He has pads over here as well. This looks fantastic. I love this. Now going down here to the boots, he has some nice military boots, it looks like. Great shading on it. Great sculpting on it. Man, I gotta say, this might be one of my favorite figures of 2017. And that's saying a lot. You can see all the detail, even on the pants. He has all these different pouches and everything like that. A lot of things you might even notice. I didn't even notice that until I was examining the figure right now. But like I said, all these different buckles and everything. The texture is great. The armor looks awesome. I do wish he was a little more buff. He seems to have little skinny arms. You know, Will Smith works out. Come on. But yeah, fantastic stuff. Alright, so let's get into articulation right now. He has a ball jointed head, like I said before, at the base of the neck and also at the base of the head. So he goes down pretty good right there, goes up pretty decent right there, left and right pivots all the way around. It feels nice and firm. Going down to the shoulders right here, inside there, looks like he has a ball socket right there, so he does have a little bit of a limited butterfly joint, but it is kind of there, so that's pretty nice. Arms go up like that, about that far, pretty good, all the way around, no problem like that. He does have a bicep swivel, which is really firm. Doesn't feel stuck though, but it feels good. He has 2 points at the elbow right here, but it goes only about 9 degrees, surprisingly. I thought it'd be a little bit better than that, but not that bad. And of course, at the wrist, he has a hinge and a swivel, so that's pretty good too. He has a ball joint at the upper part of the body. Goes down a little bit right there, not that much though. You do have to finagle it, if that's a word, because the armor plates in front might get in the way, so be aware of that. He also does have a ball joint at the base of his waist, so you could still get even more of a joint to lean forward if you want to do that, so that's pretty good. It does swivel a little bit left and right there as well. Same thing on the top, it does swivel left and right, just a little bit, not that much because of the armor, but you work it all together, you get some good movement over there. Going down now to his hip, let's see how it goes. Let me zoom out a little bit. It goes about, not quite 9 degrees, but decent enough, not bad. I don't think you can pull it out. You can pull it out a little bit, not really, but it's still pretty decent, almost 9 degrees. It could be a lot worse. And also swivels right there at the base of the hip. But like I said before, on this side, you can move the clips over so you get him to, yeah, like that. You may want to push it down too. I don't know, it's up to you. So we'll try to see what kind of poses we get out of him. So he does have a little bit of a swivel right here for the hip, for the thigh, if you want to call it that. Going down over here, he has 2 points at the knee, which is nice looking. I like that thick disc they use over here, that same color too, so it kind of blends in pretty nicely. Let me try to zoom in. My bad, guys. I'm just admiring this figure. At the boot over here, no boot swivel, but at the ankle, it does swivel right here and goes up and down, so that's pretty nice, and pivots as well, so that's pretty good. So that you have a hinge, you have a swivel, and you have another pivot, so it feels pretty good. And at the toe, he has toe articulation here, but it's not that functional, but at least he might have a little bit. So yeah, articulation wise, he is fantastic. And of course, more importantly, all the joints feel awesome and great. Alright, so let's pose him a little bit, because I want to see how good he can pose. So let's get his rifle in his hand, and I'll try to kneel him down. So you gotta pick the right handle. Gun. So this is, at the trigger figure, it feels pretty nice. Fits in right there. So I don't know how you guys do it. Do you guys put on the hand first and then put the gun in, or do you do what I just did? It's kind of hard to get his hand in there because of the stock is right in the way. Seems kind of annoying, to be honest. Alright, let's position that. The iconic pose of him holding his gun. Slide that in there. So now he's holding his gun right there. Looks pretty cool. Let's try to get to see. I know people wish that he had better elbow joints that go in more than 9 degrees to get them like in a sniping pose, which is pretty nice. Angle his head down if you want to do that, which is pretty good too. But yeah, let's see what we can do. So we're gonna push these forward. See, even do like a sniping pose. Alright, so I got this pose out of him right now. So I got the gun closer to his eye, which is a little bit easier. You lift up the arm a little bit more. I'm trying to get him to kneel and do it, like forward, but his hips aren't allowing that much clearance. Actually, it gave a lot more than I thought it would, but you still can't get it all the way. But I think this is pretty good. Just it's pretty decent enough in my opinion. Definitely want him to just, like, bring his leg forward. You can do that. So that's a little bit better. But the problem is trying to angle his torso down like that, get him to go straight. Yeah, you can play around with it, but it's, as you can see, you could definitely get in some nice poses if you're gonna have him trying to, like, do a sniping pose and stuff like that. So that's definitely pretty cool. And now here you're just normally standing and shooting his gun, so there you have that, which looks awesome. Now quickly going back to the hip joint, if I didn't make it clearer before, you can actually bring it down, the ball joint, like that, to make a little bit more clearance so you get his leg up at least decently all the way, or at least almost 9 degrees. So if I didn't say that before, you can actually do that. Alright guys, size comparison time. So right here we have some Mafex figures, all from the Batman v Superman line. So we have Superman right here, we have Batman, and we have Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman right there. And I have to say, size comparison wise, I'm actually pretty satisfied with it. I know it's not completely accurate to how it is for the actual actors. Of course, Batman, Ben Affleck will probably be the tallest, then Will Smith, then Henry Cavill, then Gal Gadot. But as the characters go, I think it's pretty good. I have no problems here at all. Definitely, as you can see, DEADSHOT is a pretty tall, big figure, which is pretty nice. Alright, so next up we have the Mafex Batman right here, the armored one. This is the Mezco Batman, and this is the new SH Fig Arts Christian Bale Batman right there. And like I said before, if I were to get the SH Fig Arts DEADSHOT, it would have been around the same height, maybe even smaller. So I'm actually pretty satisfied and happy that I got this one because he's a lot taller and bigger. I prefer to have him a little bit bigger than smaller. That's just my preference though. You might be a little bit different. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the height and size right here. Let's try to change out his head so you can see how he looks like maxed up. So maybe you might prefer that. There you go. Alright, next up right here we have the DC film Superman right here and the new DC Multiverse Wonder Woman right here, so you can see how they look like side by side. Not bad looking, pretty good. I think Superman and DEADSHOT match up pretty well, and Wonder Woman is right there. And we'll take off the head and go back to Will Smith, so you can see how it looks like. And for another size comparison right here, we have Deadpool from Marvel Legends. We also have Winter Soldier right here, so you get a good grasp at how tall and big this figure is right there. Even though you might have some comic book looking or movie based figures that might have different categories, you can still maybe mix and match it. Obviously the head is very detailed, but the mask head might fit in a little bit better if you have more comic book based figures to pair them up side by side with right there. So that's pretty cool. Anyone hear that cat? And like I was saying before, you might have different figures from different genres. Like this is a more comic book animated base Batman right here I have, and this is a more comic book Harley Quinn. So you might want to ditch the Will Smith head that's really detailed and movie accurate and just go with the mask. And you can have these guys in the same shot if you're doing ACBA, so you can mix and match, which is pretty cool. Alright guys, so I want to end the video with quality control and talk about the figure a little bit. When it comes to Mafex, I've always been a little iffy about the articulation, not the articulation per se, but the quality of the joints and everything like that. Brief history, my first Mafex figure was a Spider-Man one. I hated it, even though it looked great. I hated how the quality of the joints were. It was so flimsy and stuff like that, so I just hated it overall, and I never bought a Mafex after that. Then the DC figures came out, so I gave it another try. I bought Batman, and this one's fantastic actually. I think it is pretty good. All the joints feel pretty good. Nothing's loose or anything like that. Everything moves pretty well, so I don't have a problem with this one at all. But then came Superman and Wonder Woman, and all the same feelings came back about how much I didn't like them because the ball joints are so loose or they're flimsy, and every single time I try posing him, the joints of the legs, were a little bit loose as well. It's like the best way I can describe it is like you're trying to pose a drunk person, you know. It's kind of annoying, and you can see like it's wobbling everywhere. Of course, I could tighten up the ball joints myself, but you shouldn't have to do that. You know, you're paying so much money for these figures. You know, they're not like retail figures like Mattel or Hasbro. You know, these are pretty expensive figures that, you know, you shouldn't have to work to make them great. So I was a little bit mad about that. And then, of course, the Wonder Woman as well is the same problems, you know. And I also didn't like her joints, how they look like on her shoulders, weak a little bit the hips and everything like that. So I was a little bit a little bit angry with those. And then I bought this one, and he's actually pretty good too. So it seems like the Batman figures are pretty good. I think this one's pretty good because the joints and the parts of the body are a little bit thicker. So oddly, you would think that it's heavier and thicker, it'd be worse, but they move a lot better. So I'm actually pretty happy with this one. And then, you know, DEADSHOT came out, 2 versions, one from this one and one from SH Figure Arts. I don't know which one to get because I don't want to be disappointed again. But people were telling me that, you know, people have been telling me that Mafex have been stepping up their game. I watched a couple of different reviews from ACBA. Yeah, so everyone's saying he's pretty good, so I gave it a try. And I have to say, like I said before throughout the whole video, the quality of the joints are fantastic. Everything feels nice and firm. You want it firm. You don't want it tight. You don't want it loose. You want it nice and firm. It feels good. You can move everything around. And I'm really impressed by it. So I'm really happy I bought this one instead of the SH Figure Arts one. He's taller. He's bigger. He has way more accessories. Better sculpting in my opinion. And you know, when it comes to the size of him, I know a lot of people might not like it. I don't mind him being bigger or taller than a couple of the superheroes because I don't mind my villains being a little bit bigger anyway. I'd rather have him big than small, so there you go. When it comes to paintwork is fantastic as well. You know, when it comes to the, like I went over this before, the sculpting is great, the paintwork is awesome. You know, I don't really see any problems. I see a little bit over here. Maybe that's paint rub, or it could be, you know, you could chalk it up as weathering, you know, so it's not a big deal. But overall, everything on this figure is fantastic. Down to the small stuff like the clips, the sculpting is great, the paintwork on it is nice and clean. The head sculpts on it is awesome. The paintwork on the beard and the eyes is awesome. Even the lettering, the words, it's just fantastic. So, yeah. So like I said before, guys, I definitely recommend this over the SH Figure Arts one. You can get, even though it's a little bit more expensive, it's a lot better in my opinion. Even the small things like these clips have articulation joints on them, so you can get them out of the way, which is fantastic. And you can actually remove the guns, which is nice. Alright, so that's about it, guys. You know, as you can see, I love this figure a lot. It could possibly be my favorite figure of 2017 so far. And yeah, everything about this figure is great. You know, just don't know what else to say. Everything feels firm, good quality too. Even like the ankles feel nice and firm and nice. You know, even the big things like just be able to stand him and not worrying about him tilting over. He's on a tilt right now a little bit, but he's not falling over. He doesn't have weak joints, which is great. So yeah. Alright, so that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Like always, comment, criticize, subscribe, do whatever you want to pay attention. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and go to wildandcustoms.com. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Peace!
That's crispy.